Happy Thursday, everybody. Well, it's
Friday.
Yes, Friday Eve, as we like to say. And I'm telling you what, we have been spoiled in February. It has not felt like February at all, Larry Sprinkle.
Today will be the 20th day with temperatures way above average.
But we know that's going to change.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, we're talking about people have been suffering from allergies. Have you been suffering from allergies? Have you been noticing it with the pollen, sneezing? I know a lot of people have here. So you may have already noticed, but allergy experts warn pollen season is hitting us earlier than expected thanks to a very warm February. Pollen has already reached extremely high levels, and it's only getting worse. According to a recent report, growing season starts on average 15 days earlier than it did 50 years ago. Experts blame climate change. They say the best way to protect yourself is by staying indoors, but that is hard when it is so beautiful outside, and regularly changing air filters. That's a big deal too. But my mother-in-law's in town from Ohio. It's like snowing there, and here she is like having such allergies. Yes, right, I'm like it's gonna rain this week, and it's gonna make it all better, right?
In fact, take a look at the pollen report, and it does show today. There it is, right at the top of the charts. You get some rain, and that's going to help with the pollen. You got that tomorrow, and then it's back up again on Saturday. A lot of people, you go out to your car, that yellow pollen, that's pine pollen.
Yes.
Now that can't go in your nose. It's bigger particles of pollen, but it does indicate how bad the season is. But, every car has turned yellow.
It really has. I mean, I drive a great car, and I noticed, I think we talked about this like the other day, and I was like, what is that like weird film of stuff? What is going on?
You got to take it through the car wash.
Pine pollen.
Yeah, and it's this time of year that you have videos where people disrupt the trees and then just bursts of pollen comes off. But no, bringing up what Larry mentioned, what you physically see is not the pollen that really affects you. It's microscopic ones that get into your nose that really affect you. And for tree pollen, as you notice, there's probably a lot of flowering trees around. It's gorgeous seeing those white and those yellow flowers, but that's why it's so bad. But it's so early that this should be at a moderate level. So typically, this is how tree pollen goes. It spikes, it's very high through April. But we're already dealing with almost April-like temperatures we have been. So that's why it's confusing. So instead of being on a medium level of tree pollen for the first part of March as we typically are, it's around that very high level. So we're almost a month ahead of schedule. And typically our growing season starts around April 1st. Well, we are cooling down. So I'm not telling you to grow anything because we are looking at a chance for freezing temperatures. But it's also kind of a confusing time for the environment because it does think it's spring already.
So does that mean that we can expect it to peak again, or maybe like this is the worst of it and we just got a little
continuing.
It's continuing. Yeah, I would say it's a longer peak because you're going to have that, and then maybe the peak will drop off a little bit earlier, but it really is just elongating
The only
everything.
salvation is rain, and then people start complaining about the rain. What's rain? The pollen cows down. Pollen cows back up when it's not raining. So it's almost a no-win situation.
And sometimes the rain is only temporary, where it can rain in the morning, winds pick up in the afternoon, it dries out, and then it almost makes it flourish more. So it's only a temporary fix for the rain. But yeah, so allergy sufferers, I'm sorry.
And I think I had heard Brad Panovich said even though people want to plant things right now, don't do it. It's like April 15th when you're safe around there.
That's a weather situation. That's not a pollen situation.
Well, he was talking about the freeze coming and the rain coming.
And that's not going to affect our trees. It's one of those times of year that people get really excited because, hey,
just a good tidbit of information.
Do you know what? That's what we do.
Because I know
tidbits.
I wanted to do that. I'm like, this is so nice. I'm going to plant some flowers, but not yet. Not till April 15th.
If you live in this, we say this every year. If you live in this part of the world, don't plant until the middle of April.
Yes.
It happens every year. In March, every single year since it began. Since I was this big, every March. There's a frost and freeze. You can almost count on it.
My first year here.
We are all fooled by the beautiful weather we've had. 20 days with temperatures above average. But March comes and the bottom drops out.
It snowed here March. My first year here, we got a snowstorm. It melted by the middle of the afternoon.
In the Carolinas will remember 1960. If you might have read about this or you were around at that time. 3 weekends in a row it snowed in the month of March. So March can be that culprit that brings in the wintry weather. So it doesn't mean that we couldn't even see some wintry weather later in the month of March. Not to predict that's going to happen.
Please don't. Please don't.
Not to predict it's going to happen.
I should read some of these comments. Joy saying it's sneezing season. Joy also adding it's snowing in Wisconsin.
Is that Joy Mott?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Joy Mott.
But pollen is sneezing season. Melissa Banks, no issues here, thankfully.
Good.
And Hank saying been dealing with a stuffy nose for weeks. Jake sneezing already. Larry Sprinkle, you were the subject of banter last night. I haven't read this, and now I'm reading it cold, which I don't know if I should. During the ACC tourney, Jay Bilas.
Jay Bilas.
Oh, he was talking about you and the other commentators. Couldn't get enough of your last name with your profession.
Wow.
It was hilarious.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate
Look
that.
at
Nice
that.
shout out right there.
That's great.
Everybody loves Larry Sprinkle.
Wisconsin? Is that what that is?
I don't know if she is or if she was referencing, if she knows that you moved here. Is she from Wisconsin?
No, she lives there now. I think she's living there.
Let me see. And she watches this online.
Yeah, she does. Yeah,
That's a great. We're watched all across the world here on Wake Up Together.
Joy, we did the exact opposite. I just came from Wisconsin about a month ago, and they're sending me all the pictures of the snow, and
you're like, ha ha ha.
I can't even laugh because I'm too busy sneezing. My allergies.
Are you having problems with it?
It's been terrible.
Well, you sound fine.
Yes, I take so much Zyrtec.
Okay. That's what I told my mother-in-law to do. Take some.
Was it Monday you really had a rough time?
Oh, my
You
goodness.
Came in. She was
really?
crying. She was, what's wrong with me?
My eyes were swollen. I'm crying. I sound super stuffed
You look
up.
fine. You look
And then
great
Larry's
today.
like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, oh,
And
jeez.
You're like, it's these fake eyelashes.
Some people that move here feel like they didn't have allergies where they lived other places,
Yeah.
and they come down here and they're like,
Yes.
what is this feeling?
It's a city of trees, and the great thing with the beauty of the trees, but all in addition to that, here comes the tree pollen.
Right. Okay, so when does it wrap up then? Is there a set month where it kind of just chills out?
Well, let's go back to our graphics, shall we? Thanks a lot.
There you
Well,
go. You sit
typically on a usual tree pollen season, as we mentioned, it starts to peak through March and then levels out in April, and then it really starts to rapidly cascade down in May. And now, of course, at that point, you're also adding weeds to the mix and mold spores, and then grass picks up heading in the summer. So I feel like allergy season continues.
People start mowing lawns around here?
Yeah,
Right.
then you really notice that.
In the middle of summer.
Larry, okay, our web producer just sent me this link of him giving you a shout out. It is on Twitter.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, so either I'll post it or maybe our web producer can post it in the comments so you guys can watch it too. That is so fun. We'll have to play it after.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
thank you, Jay.
check it out.
And the team there.
Yes, we're all over the place when we talk
See,
about
if Ben is not here, it's like, hey, what are we going to
I
do?
was about to say, Ben really reels us in.
Yes, he does. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. Well, let us know. How are you doing with allergies? Are you suffering? But we'll see you back here on air at 11:30, and then tomorrow morning on Wake Up Charlotte. I got to think of all the broadcasts versus webcasts we do.
We're all over the place.
We're all over the place.
We're everywhere.
Can't miss us.
Thank
Bye.
you.